The ANC-EFF coalition in Ekurhuleni is accused of intentionally obstructing essential council proceedings, as we've just heard. This alleged interference is reportedly hindering the approval of the crucial compliance items in the much-awaited institutional review of the city. The ANC's collaboration with the EFF appears to have backfired, with their appointed Speaker Nthabiseng Tshivhenga facing accusations of orchestrating disruptions to thwart the institutional review's adoption. We are now joined by Dumisani Baleni, who is the EFF's Gauteng Media Communications Officer. Dumisani, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. You just heard what Sianda had to say. What's your response?
Well, good morning, Adrian. I think first of all, after having listened to the interview between you and Sianda, that is quite clear that there's a lot of aimless shooting around and allegations that are being thrown by the Action SA. And for a very long time, since we have assumed power, we've had to respond to them most of the time. Each and every week, we must respond to some aimless allegation by Action SA or the DA for as long as we've been in government, which is understandable because they are a party in opposition. That is a duty that they are trusted to be doing. In terms of council, we know that there was council on the 30th of November, which ended very shortly because of disruption in council, which the Speaker,
your members charging at the DA.
Our members were in protest over the DA racist Ward 25 Ward councillor, who was later on withdrawn, or later on resigned because of his racial connotations or racial actions, which proved that EFF was in fact correct, because we did say that we'll open a case against the ward councillor was racist, Danny Peter, and that we will make sure that we take it up to council, which we view council as a space of protest, as a space of the people. We did exactly that. There was a commotion, which is not uncommon in councils. Then
assault?
No. I think those will be tested in the right spaces. We have heard that the DA was planning to open a case or to take it further. I think that is, we should leave it to that in terms of assault and stuff like that. But the point is that since then, the Speaker invoked Section 72, which is rightfully so, that should there be an issue that she feels is a disruption in council, she can call for an adjournment. Ever since the Speaker has called for an adjournment, like what Sianda has said right now here, that there is outstanding reports. One of the outstanding reports that the Speaker actually explained to everyone is the Auditor General's report, which the EFF and the ANC governance has actually submitted the financial reports, which the Action SA and the DA actually have been demanding. In fact, that we presented in council, they have been submitted to the Auditor General. The communication came that there's delays. They are still trying to consolidate the report and they will send it back. Now, in the interest, like he just said, that calling councils costs a lot of money. In the interest of money and time, the Speaker took a decision that I will call, because of the communication between her and the Auditor General's office, is that report is almost ready. So the decision is that let us not call this meeting now, which is still rightfully within her powers, that let us reschedule a meeting that will have the two reports, the institutional review and the Auditor General's report. That is
but then the
right
Auditor General's report wasn't ready on the 30th of November, right?
Yes,
but
sir.
Still the Speaker called for that council sitting.
Yes, sir.
And that's the reason why you hear the Action SA arguing that it was orchestrated to have a postponement. Because what was on the agenda on the 30th of November?
Well, what was on the agenda the 30th of November was the institutional review, which they think is the main reason why not calling for the Speaker is not calling for the meeting. I mean, that is already scheduled in the agenda, it's already programmed in the agenda. It cannot be removed. And this one is because now the communication between the office of, what we understand is that the communication between the office of the Speaker and the Auditor General is that the report is almost ready.
Yeah.
Which now gives, within this such a long time, a lot has happened, which gives the Speaker, the understanding or the wisdom to say, but we can schedule this meeting and put these items in the agenda.
But as I say, like on the 30th of November, the report from the Auditor General was still not ready, but there was a council meeting that was convened, and on the agenda of that council meeting was the institutional review as well.
Yes.
So why did that council meeting go ahead, even though the Auditor General's report was not ready?
Yes, that is what I'm trying to explain. Is that is upon the developments within this week, since the 30th of November up until right now. Look, Aldrin, the question of what you call institutional review, the EFF has nothing to gain there. The institutional review, in fact, speaks on restructuring the municipal's organogram, trimming down if there's a need in terms of certain positions, but also filling up positions that are outstanding, which has nothing to do with the in fact, if you check into the policies of the EFF, we speak into making sure that we capacitate government positions, but also we always spoke about the issue of having bloated government structures, which this institutional review has nothing to do with us. We have no reason to be opposing it. It will sit in its time.
Will you be
There's
voting
no issue.
in support of it?
Well, the Council of Ekurhuleni will consider whatever they need to consider, and if there are points or there are aspects of it that they want to amend, they will propose. If there are aspects of it that they want to vote for, they will vote for. But I don't think that there is a fundamental issue with an institutional review.
So what are the issues that the EFF has with the institutional review?
No issues whatsoever.
So that's why I'm asking that will the EFF vote in support of the institutional review document being adopted?
Well, it doesn't really work like that. That is why I'm saying at current moment, we don't have an issue. There's no reported issue, fundamental problem with the review in itself. Right? And that should there be a need, if they think some things needs to be amended or to be put in a certain way, those things can be submitted. But in terms of what should happen in terms of restructuring the institutional structures, we have no problem. We will be voting with that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking what are your concerns with the institutional review? What are the things that could lead to a possible amendment of the institutional review that the EFF may be worried about?
No, that will, I think, be on the side of council on their determination. But we are.
But you're representing the EFF here. You're representing the EFF.
No, I don't want to.
And the bone of contention is the postponement of council meeting and the Action SA arguing that the reason why it's being postponed and it's being orchestrated for that postponement is because the EFF is not in support of the institutional review.
Listen, my brothers, that the item is in the agenda.
Yeah.
There's no way we can remove the item from the agenda. We have no intention of doing that. In fact, we are supposed to have, if you count from now up until going back to the 30th of November, it's only been seven days, which is within the allocated period. And the Speaker communicated, I think, 2 days back, which is right on in our own office's duties. But I'm saying we cannot remove that item on the agenda. We cannot postpone it. It's going to happen. There is no issue with it. The issue here that we were spoken about is that there must be, the Speaker is considering the AG's report, which is very important. Here in Ekurhuleni, my brother, is that on the 17th of October, we're called by the Action SA and DA. We're raising alarms on the finances of the city. And we said, these are just allegations. And then we had to call a meeting, because they are saying the Speaker is not calling councils, the Speaker is not holding the executive accountable. We're to present the finances of the city, which actually indicated a positive improvement in the finances of the city. Now, that report has been sent to the Auditor General. It has to be presented in council, and the council is about to close. Why can't the Action SA? It is nothing untoward. This is nothing new in terms of postponing a little bit, having certain items that are urgent put in the agenda, and we'll continue with the business of the day. I don't understand the alarm, to be honest.
Is the EFF happy with the institutional review in its current form?
Yes.
The EFF is happy
with
it in its current form?
Yes.
And you'll be voting in support of it?
The council will decide on that, but I think there's no issue.
No,
with
the EFF caucus.
Yes.
The EFF caucus is happy with the institutional review in its current form. Will the EFF caucus be voting in the adoption of that review?
They will be voting in adoption of the review in consideration of whatever they want to add as a council.
So there's a possibility of something to be added.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hamstring the council of the EFF in Ekurhuleni.
Could it be at all, what's also happening to Dumisani is that the EFF is actually meeting with some political parties, maybe even the ANC, to see what it wants to be amended in the institutional review and see whether the ANC would support that? Is that a possibility?
Well, the institutional review has been overdue for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
If there would have been a need to consolidate whatever we need to consolidate, I think we should have had an ample of time to do that. I don't think there's still an outstanding issue that we need to do in the back doors and consolidate. I don't believe so.
Okay. Just quickly, the allegation around Councillor Dunga as well as the blue light that was fitted on a private vehicle. What's the EFF's response to that?
Well, we've responded in it. We've been saying ample of times that there is no such a thing. There was no blue light fitted in any private car, and that the MMC got ran the MMC's car or whatever vehicle he was using, ran into an accident that was already happening, and whatever unfortunate events took place. But the allegations as well by Action SA, we've been responding to them many times. These guys wake up, they throw allegations, they cannot be tested in anything, they can't bring any proof. So we've said that there's no blue lights fitted in the MMC's car, private vehicle or the one that he was using. There are blue lights that are fitted in the state's vehicle, which rightfully so are supposed to be accompanying him. So we've responded to that. I think it's
just a quick final one. The ANC-EFF relationship, and of course there are some members of the ANC that are pushing for the ANC and the EFF to stop this collaboration. What's the EFF response to that?
Well, I think this has been ongoing since the beginning of this arrangement we had with the ANC. That there's people who are not happy, there's people who are happy.
Including the former mayor.
Yes. So what we understand as the EFF, that the EFF had to take a decision to be in government. And our understanding is that, which is also the ANC's which is consistent with the ANC's understanding of what is happening in Ekurhuleni, is that the EFF is actually breaking ground, is actually doing service delivery, and it has access to the people of Ekurhuleni. And it is, according to them, it is taking over their ground as the ANC, which rightfully so, as a party that used to enjoy power, you would think, but we need to pull out. And we are not threatened by that. Whether they want to take a decision or they don't, the EFF is providing service delivery. The EFF is engaging people of Ekurhuleni each and every day.
Have you spoken about it at a regional level?
No, these conversations happen at a national level. But the EFF's position has always been that if the ANC wants to take a decision on coalition, they have the right to do so. The EFF is focused on service delivery. We're not threatened by whether we're in government or we're not in government. It doesn't really threaten us, that thing. It is the issue, the baby of the ANC, and they must be the ones who feed it.
Thank you so much. That is Dumisani Baleni, who is the EFF's Gauteng Media and Communications Officer.